Sure.
Take it away, Mr. Haggerty and President Patizzi.
So we are so excited to be here today. This has been a long time coming. Ellie and I have been talking about this with our respective leadership for many years, but it really came to fruition starting about, what, Ellie, 2 years ago? And then it really gained momentum late last year. And then a pandemic happened, which certainly threw a big curveball at all of us. But I think it's really to the credit of both the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors and the Bronx Manhattan North Association of Realtors that we made this happen during very challenging times. We actually conducted general membership meetings during the pandemic via Zoom. If you'd asked me a year ago, would I be conducting a general membership meeting via Zoom, I would have told you I don't even know what Zoom is. Certainly that has all changed in the last 6 to 8 months. But we are so excited to have Bronx as part of our association. I think it's going to be the beginning of great, great things for both memberships as we join and create one bigger membership. But what we really want to do today is talk about the new merged entity and what you can expect as members of the Bronx chapter of the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. And I'm going to ask both Ellie and Gail to chime in whenever they'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen. So first, welcome. Again, we're very excited and we think this is going to be a new era. We now officially have the Bronx chapter of the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, and understand this is your association. You should expect services and products to help you succeed in your business. And that's really what we want to do today, is go over some of those services and products. We now have 4 locations. We have the Bronx Manhattan North location at 1867 Williamsbridge Road. We have an office up in Goshen at 9 Coates Drive. We have an office in West Nyack at 2 Medical Park Drive, and then our headquarters is 1 Maple Avenue. So we really do cover a very significant, large territory, and we're now past 12,500 members. We're actually closing in on 13,000 members. We're the 2nd largest association in New York State. Long Island is still the largest, but we're a very strong 2nd. We developed these mission, vision, and true line statements going back about 6 years ago with our consultant, Tracy Weir. And we really have not tinkered with these at all because we think they are very much to the point of what this organization is all about, and that's the member. Our mission is we create opportunities for our members to grow their businesses and succeed in their communities. We exist to help our members thrive. Our vision is to make members their best, and our true line is we enable members to achieve their goals. So there's one consistent theme there, and that's the member. It's you. That's why we are here. We are here to help you succeed in your businesses as well as in your communities. And I think that we have really done our best to try to accomplish that, but it's a constantly evolving mission that we have, because as the business changes and evolves, we have to change and evolve to help our members succeed. We can never forget that we're part of a larger association. We are chartered by the National Association of Realtors. We are more than 100 years old. And we are also part of the New York State Association of Realtors, and you receive benefits from all 3 levels of this organization. But understand that actually when we talk about HGAR.com, our website, that can also be a conduit to the services that are provided by the New York State National Association of Realtors. It's true that there is strength in numbers, especially when it comes to political advocacy. So when you look at those numbers, 1.3 million for the National Association, 58,000 for the New York State Association, and now almost 13,000 members for the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, those are big numbers. And it really does help us with legislative advocacy especially, but understand that even though we're large, Every single one of those 13,000 members is equally important to us. And we have to do everything we can to help every single one of those individual members succeed. We also have, in terms of the local association, relationships with two subsidiary organizations. One is the Hudson Gateway Realtor Foundation. That's the charitable arm of our organization. And I'm going to talk about how we really feel that that matches up so well with what Bronx has done for so many years, especially in their efforts to raise money for Camp Good Days. We also are part owner of One Key MLS. I think many of you are aware that starting in March of this year, we launched a new regional MLS called One Key MLS that we co-own with the Long Island Board of Realtors. So we really think that that's a very powerful tool to really leverage the power of our geography to benefit the members. In terms of the foundation, we founded it in 2004. Gail was actually one of the founding members of the organization. It's a passion of hers. It continues to be a passion of hers. At that point in time, we called it Hearts for the Homeless. But we reformed and relaunched it in 2016 with then President Drew Kessler, who had a very strong passion for giving back to the community. It's a 501c3, which means it is, any monies that you contribute or donate to the foundation are tax deductible. It is run by 6 trustees and 3 officers who are all volunteers. We're closing on over $200,000 in charitable giving since the relaunch. So that's a fairly significant amount of money that goes to support so many different truly valuable charities and not-for-profits in our entire geography. I know that the Board of Trustees actually just met late last week, I believe it was Friday, and again gave a sizable amount of money to so many charities that are really hurting right now. And they're hurting because of the current COVID-19 onslaught, and also because their services are being really overtaxed right now because there's so many vulnerable people in our population. So please, when you see those foundation events, and we're really trying to relaunch those events in a Zoom environment, please participate. But I also mentioned that Bronx has got an incredible history of giving back to your community. And certainly the primary beneficiary for the last several years has been Camp Good Days. Gail and I and some of the other officers had the honor of attending the 85th annual golf and tennis outing back on September 23rd. That was the first social event, Ellie, that I think that Bronx Manhattan North had conducted really since the very beginning of the year. But I was so impressed with how you and Janine ran that program. We all practiced social distancing. We had on masks. 2 long-term members of Bronx Manhattan North, Jack and Joe DiMaggio, were honored at that event. But the other thing that I was so impressed with, and correct me if I'm wrong with the numbers, Ellie, but Mark Engel, I think, raised almost $20,000 in the space of 10 minutes. 10,000?
No, in 10 minutes. You got that right.
Okay, I thought it was 20,000 in 10 minutes. I was so impressed with that. It shows the commitment that Bronx members have to supporting their community. And that's why we do feel that there's so many synergies with this partnership, and our members' passion of giving back to their communities is certainly one of them. The other really important facet, though, of the foundation is not just attending events to contribute monies. It's also participating as volunteers in those different charities and really giving back to communities, not just by giving, but also by giving your time and energy. Gail, do you want to just briefly talk about that? Because I know that's truly a passion of yours.
Sure. So we started a program committee for the foundation last year, which is focused on giving time and contributing in that sense to many of the charities that we have supported financially with our grants from the foundation. Last year we did, I believe it was about 15 different volunteer events through the year, which was great because we actually only kicked it off in the middle of the year. This year we had plans for more than that, but we've been a little bit stymied by the pandemic and the fact that a lot of the charities are just not in a position to accept volunteers. But we have done 6 volunteer programs already this year, and we have another 4 scheduled before the end of the year. So we're getting them in where we can, and hope that you guys will participate. We'll have every week on our Monday Connections newsletter that you'll all start to get. There's information there about the volunteer events as they're coming up, so you can sign up for anything that is of interest to you. And it's a great way to give back and to learn more about the foundation and the charities that we support, and also to meet new agents, new people you don't know, because we're getting so many people that just haven't come out for anything before that are showing up for these events.
Thanks, Gail. So I also mentioned one key, and I really look at this map and I look at the power of that geography. And as it says on this slide, we came together to leverage the incredible geography of New York City and the suburban area. There are so many entities out there that use our data to try to leverage our data to benefit them, as opposed to our members and the consumers. So really the whole initiative of creating One Key MLS is to try to take control of our data and use it to benefit our members and the consumers. It also has a consumer-facing website that we'll talk about in just a second. But just when you look at that geography, it is tremendously powerful, and we have to continue to leverage the power of that geography to the benefit of our members. Many of you already participate in onekeymls.com in terms of the products available through that. This is the corporate site, onekeymlsnewyorkny.com, and I continue to encourage you to go there. There are 2 systems that the participants and subscribers of One Key MLS use. Hudson Gateway, for the most part, they use the Matrix system, and out in Long Island, they use what's called the Stratus system. And both systems are very strong systems with a lot of tools to help you, again, succeed in your business. But this is also, from my perspective, especially important. It has a consumer-facing website. And I encourage you to encourage your consumers, your buyers, sellers, landlords, tenants, to go to this site. It has over 40,000 listings. There are over 44,000 subscribers who enter their listings into this system. And it's a truly, from my perspective, powerful system that consumers are really starting to flock to in greater numbers. And again, the only entity or the only individual and office that are featured on the listings are the listing agent and the listing office. That's the power of this consumer-facing MLS, and that's never going to change. This is your leadership. I'm the CEO. Our COO is Ann Gardy. We have Gail as our 2020 president. Leah Caro, who is a past president of HGAR, as well as our former MLS, HGMLS, is currently the chair of the board of managers for One Key MLS. We have Ellie, who right now has got a very long title, Director of Advocacy, Commercial and Legislative Issues for Bronx and Manhattan, and is the liaison for the Bronx chapter. And we have Vinny Buccieri, who's the Regional Director for the Bronx. We have a number of groups that are affiliated with the organization. This top group I want to really emphasize, because when we came together to talk about the framework of merging the 2 entities, we talked about the fact that Bronx, Manhattan North had such a strong commercial presence, as well as property owner presence and building manager presence. And we wanted to use, on an ongoing basis, their expertise in that area. And that's why we think that Ellie and the Bronx leadership is going to be so helpful in reshaping our commercial and investment division going forward. We also have the Global Business Council, which we started, Kathleen, I want to say about 2.5, 3 years ago. I'm going to take it that she's agreeing with me. Kathleen is she's the staff liaison for both the CID program as well as the Global Business Council. We've
That's
relaunched.
correct. Sorry, I was on mute.
No worries. And Global's really done some great expansion. We've entered into some memorandums of agreement with Uruguay as well as Argentina. And
Correct.
we also have a partnership with Portugal. We are the Ambassador Association to Portugal. And we are going to be doing our own global remote seminar in the very beginning of November over 2 days. And I think we've got a slide on that, but I'll mention it right now, over November 5th and November 6th. So be on the lookout for more information about that. And then we've got our division of the Women's Council of Realtors. In terms of the organizational structure, this is fairly traditional. The board of directors are elected to represent the organization. We also have the executive committee that is composed of the officers of the organization. So you've got our president, president-elect, secretary, treasurer, and past president. Then we have a number of standing committees and task forces: finance committee, professional standards, education, legislation, fair housing, nominating, strategic planning when needed, and communication task forces when needed. All of these standing committees and task forces need you. They need members because it's your passion, your ideas that actually make the organization succeed. So when we solicit positions, volunteer positions for these committees that'll be happening very soon for 2021, please be on the lookout for those, because our success is based upon your willingness to participate, to volunteer your time and energies for the organization. The board of directors is the governing body of the association. They do the planning and the oversight, policy development. They allocate and protect assets. And they're both the organizations in terms of One Key MLS, as well as the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, do have significant assets. Because of that, we make sure that we protect those assets. We have an investment policy. We do quarterly financial reviews with our accountants, and we have an annual certified audit every year. And the board of directors receives all of that information on a monthly, quarterly, and annual basis. And their goal is to advance the mission and strategic plan of the organization. But they do need your help and input as members to achieve those goals. Last year, we retained the services of the past president of the National Association of Realtors, a gentleman by the name of Ron Phipps, to facilitate our strategic planning process. It had been about 5 years since we had looked at it. So it was really past time that we looked at how to refocus the organization to benefit the members. And I've been with the organization since 1984, so going on 36 years. And I've participated in a lot of these strategic planning processes. I've got to tell you, many times they were the same cookie cutter type of a process. That was not what would happen last year. Ron Phipps did such an amazing job with an incredible group of people to create what I thought was truly a groundbreaking strategic plan. And I'd like Gail to just kind of quickly review it, because Gail was one of the driving forces with last year's president, Ron Garofalo, on the creation of this plan.
Sure, thanks, Richard. So the strategic plan basically has 5 pillars, as we call them: advocacy, leadership, professional development, engagement, and success. And we did create task forces around each of these pillars. And one of the things that we did do as a result of the strategic plan is to do more of a shift towards task forces and work groups rather than standing committees. So those work groups and task forces have specific goals and initiatives, and it's not just a committee that meets every month for the sake of meeting. Some of the things that we have done as a result of implementing some of the pillars of the strategic plan. We did set a fair housing task force very early in the year to address some of the issues that came out of that Newsday investigation and the results there. We launched this year a leadership accelerator program. It kicked off in September, and we have our inaugural class of 13 participants who are on a trajectory to learn more about the association, really grow their knowledge base and their skills in the area of leadership, as we hope that they will be some of our future leaders. We have really done a big focus on the global component of the organization. So the Global Council, as Richard mentioned, we've been doing global chats, signing these memorandums of understanding. So a lot going on with the Global Council. In terms of education, we were able to pivot this year to fully embracing the Zoom technology to do classes, and we even added 40 new classes that were introduced this year. And considering the environment that happened in, I think that's pretty incredible. We have a diversity task force. Christina Stevens is part of that task force, and that's working towards creating a diversity and inclusion committee. We've got our member success team. So there have been a lot of initiatives that have taken place this year, really focused on putting into action those elements of the strategic plan that are most important. If you're a broker owner manager, we developed this year a number of toolkits for the broker owner managers, things to help you train your agents, great information that you can use for your office meetings, and there are more of those in development. So there's a whole lot that's going on as a result of the strategic plan, a lot more work to do. Obviously, some of our projects and initiatives this year had to be put on the back burner because of certain things that we couldn't do with the COVID-19, but we definitely will be continuing through the next couple of years, working through as many of these elements as possible and really keeping our task forces and work groups focused on the achievements that we hope to reach through the strategic plan. So as Richard said, it really truly was a great process and gave us a terrific blueprint to move forward the organization.
And I really do think that we've got to recognize that this has got to inform all of our decision-making going forward, because for this to really succeed, we all have to understand what those 5 pillars are. And when we're making decisions to benefit the organization, we have to look at those decisions in the context of, do they move the organization forward in the context of this strategic plan? And as Gail just said, so far, even with our being thrown the curveball of COVID-19, it's amazing how this organization has adopted these 5 pillars and has really aggressively moved forward with this plan. There is a fairly large staff that is part of the success of the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. When you look at the size of the organization, almost 13,000 members, this is actually a fairly lean staff, but nonetheless, there are approximately 30 people on this list. We have Vicki Gonzalez, our Controller and Chief of Staff, Jeff Marzo, Director of Technology, Phil Wyden, Director of Government Affairs, Gary Connolly, Director of MLS Information Services, Brian Levine, Director of Legal Services and Professional Standards Administrator, Mary Preenon, Director of Communications and Sales, Kathleen Stack, Director of Marketing, Jana Courier, Director of Member Engagement, Laverne Brown, Manager of the MLS Support and Member Success Team, Jennifer Andriak, County Manager, Vicki D'Agostino, Director of Professional Development, Ellie, who's got the longest title out of everybody, Director of Advocacy, Commercial and Legislative Issues for Bronx and Manhattan and liaison to the Bronx chapter, Karen Peters, Manager of the Online Education, and the list goes on. Lisa Andrade of Education Coordinator, Scott Clark, Information and Member Service Coordinator, Jeff Doder, Manhattan Outreach, Michelle Gilliard, Communications Coordinator and Membership Services, Janine Mosher, Office Manager of the Bronx, and she's going to be the point person of the success team for the Bronx. And Ariane, we call her Ari Thomas, our county assistant. And then our success team members, Jonathan, Linda Hunt, Emily Jackson, Jennifer Mandrakis, Jackie Manigo, Maria Thomas, Marie Teitchen, and Dee Vielman. And we're going to talk about that success team in a little bit greater detail. And we have a picture of last year's Christmas party. I don't think we're going to be repeating that this year, unfortunately. Operations really fall in big part on the shoulders of Vicki and Gary. Legislative and government affairs, from my perspective, you can make an argument this is the most important thing we do on behalf of the membership. And quite frankly, again, this is also one of the reasons why I think it was so important to create this new partnership between Hudson Gateway and Bronx Manhattan North. We meet with local, state, and federal lawmakers to talk about our issues, both the issues that we are in favor of and the issues that we're opposed to. We communicate and promote RPAC, the Realtor Political Action Committee, which we use to support candidates who support our issues. It is nonpartisan, but it is extremely important. We promote calls to action, and I can't tell you how important it is to support those calls to action because they're issued only concerning very important issues. So things like transfer taxes, things like limiting the deductibility of mortgage payments or interest payments. Those calls to action are vital because the larger the numbers of the respondents, the more the politicians notice and pay attention to them. And we organize lobby days for DC and Albany. This has been a rough year for about the last year and a half with legislative issues that have come out of Manhattan and New York City. There have been a number of changes that occurred, quite frankly, that we feel are detrimental to not just our industry, but also to landlords and tenants, especially when it comes to rent policies. And there are also some tax issues that occurred in New York City that we feel, quite frankly, are going to have the opposite effect than what the legislators intended. We think it's going to scare away potential purchasers and potential residents of New York City if the tax burden becomes too burdensome. And we've got to continue to fight that fight because obviously there's going to be a big battle concerning budget there's obviously going to be a budget shortfall in the state, and that's in large part going to be fueled by New York City. And they're already talking about resurrecting the paid-to-tear tax. And we've got to really be vigilant and constantly educate our legislators concerning what we feel are issues that are going to really harm the economy. And that's one of the things, quite frankly, I'm so excited about having Ellie join our team because he's going to be the key point person going forward, especially with our legislators, both in the Bronx as well as Manhattan. And it's not just going to be at the state level, it's also going to be at the local level. New York City is going to have a lot of council members up for re-election next year or who are going to be termed out because of term limits. And we really have to have one-on-one conversations with those council members to make sure that they're aware of our concerns, our issues. So when it comes to legislative and government affairs, this is where I think we really can use the synergies of our respective organizations. We've talked about RPAC. It truly is one of the most important tools that we have to make sure that we have the ear of the legislators. We're not trying to buy anybody's vote. That just doesn't happen. And again, it's totally bipartisan. We support candidates who support real property rights, who support home ownership. And it's vital, quite frankly, to the success of our legislative agenda. Our legislative goal in 2020 was over $233,000. We're not going to meet it this year. We've come close to meeting it in previous years, but obviously with COVID-19, that's created a big challenge for us. But I know with Ellie's help going forward in 2021, we'll get back on track to reach goal again. And by the way, Bronx Manhattan North has met goal pretty much every year, Ellie, isn't that the case?
You're absolutely right. Every single year since I've been here.
Yep. A
And
lot of that's been.
we won the Triple Crown.
you've got several people who are really big supporters of our PAC, and Mike Schmelzer really has been in the lead for decades. This was last year's lobby day. We actually sent up, I think, over 50 people. It was close to 50 people to attend New York State Association of Realtors Lobby Day. And trust me, that gets attention. When those lawmakers come into that room, which is one of the largest meeting rooms up in Albany, they look at all the people in that audience and they are impressed. And they listen to us and they listen to our arguments and our positions. What's RPAC done for you lately? Well, mansion tax. We have so far been able to succeed in keeping that capped. We are always vigilant for transfer taxes, the STAR program, first-time homebuyer accounts, preservation of mortgage deductibility. Right now, that's capped at 10,000, but I think, quite frankly, we could be revisiting that in the very near future. Capital gains exemptions for home sales and flood insurance relief. I know this is a little bit small type, but we've successfully enacted the 2% property tax cap, which was a huge win for our state association, just huge. Extension of mortgage debt tax relief, transparency and disclosure in co-op housing. That's where co-ops have to adhere to certain protocols. So far, we've only succeeded in this at a county level. We've been able to get it passed in Rockland County as well as Westchester County in 2018. And that continues to be one of our prime legislative items on our agenda for the state. We defeated a proposed Yonkers transfer tax. We defeated 20% down payments for new home buyers, and we defeated proposed deed verification fees in Rockland County. So the other thing that we really need is, if there are issues that you learn about, we may not be aware of them. So we need for you to give us a call. Give me a call, give Phil Wyden a call, our Director of Government Affairs, give Ellie a call if you learn about a local initiative that we need to either support or oppose. We also have in-house legal counsel. Brian Levine administers our professional standards process. So if you have any questions about our code of ethics, about the arbitration process that we administer, about mediation, Brian is your point person. If you've got any questions about regulation, and certainly with New York State, there are more and more regulations that we have to be aware of and educated about. Brian is also your person. I'd strongly recommend that you read his monthly newspaper article in Real Estate in Depth. That's both in the print version of Real Estate in Depth as well as in the online version. But he is a tremendous resource. Marketing communications, we have both Kathleen Stack, who's on the call, as well as Mary Preenon, who's also on the call, who do a tremendous job communicating with the members about all of the products and services and educational opportunities that we offer, which is just ongoing on a monthly basis. And sometimes I feel it's overwhelming. We have breakfast with benefits. And it's interesting, we'd always get a pretty good turnout. We average about, I'd say 30, 40, 50 people when we would do it in the classroom. But with Zoom, we actually oftentimes exceed over 100 people. So Zoom has really extended our outreach with many of these programs that we offer. We have global business chats. Kathleen, we've had the president of the chapter in India address our group about a month ago. Who else have we had with global business chat?
We just had the president of FIAPSI in Nigeria.
Awesome.
Yep.
We have commercial investment division webinars. We're actually going to have one specific to the Bronx. I think we've got a slide at the very end, but those are great programs. We have a Women in Commercial Real Estate series, which has really been very successful. We've been doing a series about every other week that's geared to New York City called Getting the Deal Done. We've had a number of webinars this year on fair housing that have been both timely as well as very well attended. So all of these programs are meant to help you educate yourself and help you succeed in your businesses. So I strongly encourage you to look at them and to participate. We do a lot of our communications via our website. The HGAR site, quite frankly, was a great resource right off the bat with COVID-19 resources. At the very beginning of the pandemic, we were able to post as much information as we could as soon as it came out. We would also link to the information to the NISAR website. So we tried to make sure that that was as complete as we could possibly make it. And we still, I mean, there's still a lot of resources that we offer on that site. We also, as I mentioned, communicate via Real Estate in Depth, both online as well as in print. You'll receive copies to your preferred mailing address. We have a communications called HGAR Connections that comes out every Monday that talks about what's happening in the near future with the organization. You're going to start to receive that via email every Monday. We also, if you participate in One Key MLS using Matrix, you'll see pop-up boxes in Matrix to alert you to different events that are very important. And you're also able to search various posts on HGAR.com. You know, I have to admit, I'm very proud of our newspaper. John Jordan, our longtime editor, he's a throwback newspaper guy. He loves print news. He is so timely in terms of he'll break stories left and right. And from my perspective, that is so important because as all of these newspapers are failing around the country, all these local newspapers, I am so proud that we actually have one that is so well read. Our local politicians read it because they find it so valuable. So we really do, I think, go so far beyond what so many of our fellow associations do in terms of continuing to value a newspaper. And it doesn't mean that you have to, if you prefer to read it online, that's great because we offer everything that you see in the print version, we also offer it online. We also have been doing, ever since the onslaught of COVID-19, we've been doing daily COVID-19 updates. The open rate of those updates has just been amazing. They started out probably in the low to mid 40% of our members would open that email, and that's a huge response rate. You know, it's settled down to the low 30s to high 20s, but it shows you we've gotten just tremendous feedback on how people really get a lot of great information from those daily updates. We also, and I'm going to do a plug for Mary right now because Mary also is the person who coordinates the advertising of Real Estate in Depth, both the print version and online. We really do appreciate the support of the individuals who advertise in Real Estate in Depth. And we hope that you actually support those individuals because they've made a commitment to the organization, recognizing just how popular Real Estate in Depth is. Gail's already mentioned that we have a very, very active School of Real Estate. Vicki D'Agostino is our Director of Professional Development. I cannot tell you how proud I am of both of our staff at HGAR, as well as our instructors, because they adapted to a Zoom environment within 2 weeks. We had launched our classes by the middle of April, I would say, and started out slow. And quite frankly, it was 2 past presidents who really led that charge. Catherine DeClerc and Dorothy Botso, who just embraced Zoom. And from those early days in April, we were able to be totally back on with our full schedule by the end of April. And that was just, from my perspective, there are some associations who to this day have not engaged in Zoom classes and who have not renewed their in-person classes. So I really do feel that this is one area that you should take advantage of. We usually offer about between 24 to 20 classes, Zoom classes every month, both in terms of education, in terms of licensing in terms of designation, certifications, continuing ed, but also matrix education. And pretty much all of the matrix classes, MLS classes, are also approved for continuing ed. We also have the virtual education card where you can save $50. Gail, I'm going to ask you to weigh in on this because this was one of your initiatives as well.
So the idea was that agents can purchase a card, and it's basically money in the bank for you, and it's $175, and it allows you to take up to 22.5 hours of CE credit for that $175, and you can mix and match whatever classes. We used to do bundled classes, and those were kind of limiting because it was a certain program of or group of classes that you had to take, and now you can really mix and match with whatever you would like to take. It does not include the designation classes, but outside of that, any of the regular CE classes that we offer. And you can have up to 1 year from the date that you purchase it. So if you bought it today on October 19th, that card is good for a year till next October 19th, and you can take any combination of those classes. And we're still trying to get the word out about it. It's something fairly new to us, but you do get a pop-up. So if you go to sign up for a class on the HGAR.com site, there'll be a pop-up asking if you want to purchase the virtual card. And I just think it's a great, easy way to put in the bank your money for the credits that you'll need for the coming year. So hope that everybody will take advantage of that. And we do have exceptional classes. I mean, that's one thing I always encourage agents. There are people I know who just want to get it done and they don't really care what they're taking. But this, you can take the live Zoom classes. So it's not, you're at your computer. It's kind of the best of both worlds. You don't have to go anywhere. You can do it from home at your computer, but it's with a live instructor. So it's not just boring recorded classes that you don't have to even pay attention to. They're really engaging and informative and very locally focused. So it's going to be how we do business here, what you need to know to improve your business and do better. So I think it's a great option.
Couldn't agree more. Jana, who's also on the call, who created this PowerPoint, is the key person for volunteer leadership opportunities. These are, again, all the committees. And also, as we mentioned, look for task forces, because I anticipate we're going to have a number of task forces going forward in 2021. But she'll be coordinating the outreach to solicit volunteers for all of our committees and task forces, as well as foundations. Our member success team really came about last year. And what we tried to do is streamline the process that we have in answering your phone calls. We are, again, one of the few associations, from my perspective, who have tried to cross-train very successfully, I should say, all of our team members so that they can answer any question that you have, so you don't get bounced around to different people and sometimes you're put into somebody else's voicemail. So we've really tried to streamline the process of when members call in, how we answer those phone calls, where that one person is going to be the point person to answer all of your phone calls. We've also launched an email, support@hgar.com if you prefer email, and we've also launched chat. So if you want to have a chat conversation, we have that component as well from our website, hgr.com. And Laverne Brown has done a tremendous job creating these manuals to answer all of the questions that you may have, that all of the success team members have. So Laverne has been a tremendous asset in leading that success team. We've got the member dashboard, and Kathleen, I'd like you to actually talk a little bit about the member dashboard.
Sure, thank you. So when you log on from HGR.com, we have a whole set of member tools on your dashboard, starting with the profile area at the top, where you can learn about your contact information. You can learn about classes that you've taken towards your license renewal, your continuing ed requirements, and any classes that you've registered for, any events you've registered for. The top section here also, we put notifications of interest to you. And then we also have on the dashboard, top events, access to the support team, information about RPAC, HGR perks at work. These are discounts that are available to you, information about our HG Realtor Foundation, etc. Also at the top, this is where you click right into Matrix, your dashboard, information about Supra, RPR, etc. So this dashboard is really your key to all the information you need at hgr.com. So rather than just clicking right into Matrix when you get here, take a look at all we have to offer you as a member. This is all your member tools and resources. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you. We have tremendous statistics that I would encourage you to take advantage of. We have our quarterly market reports. Last quarter was very strong when it came to single family homes, not so much for condos or co-ops. We get a lot of media coverage with those reports, both nationally as well as statewide and local. And all that information is also easily shared with your prospects, your customers, and your clients. We have perks at work. A lot of folks take advantage of these programs where you can actually save significant dollars on various items, electronics, cars, restaurants, retail. Our local affiliates will also offer discounts, and the Perks Committee looks at, will interview local vendors who are willing to offer discounts to our members. And again, it exists at all three levels, national, NISAR, as well as HGAR. Here's some of the ones that you're going to find on the website. It's insurance, pest services, Raymond Opticians, you name it. We have annual events. Our annual meeting is coming up. It's going to be virtual this year. Typically, we've had about 1,300 to 1,400 members attend our annual meeting. Obviously, that can't happen this year, hopefully in the future. But we've shifted it to a 2-day event. And the topic this year, the slogan is "So Many Ways to Win." It's going to be on the 26th and 27th, and you can get all kinds of information on hgr.com. Our annual meeting is actually going to be noontime, 12 noon on October 27th. And I would strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to attend that annual meeting. That's going to be preceded by our keynote speaker, and it's Kathleen, what's his last name, Mary?
Ricky Mendez.
What's his
Ricky Mendez.
What's his background, Mary?
He is an international speaker. He owns several companies in California. He's a trainer. He is a business coach. So he's an all-around motivational type of person, and he's got a great personality. He's going to be really great.
Awesome. As I've already mentioned, we've also got our global forum this year is going to be virtual as well, a global voyage into local business. And that's going to be November 5th and 6th. All that information will also be on the website. And there is a picture of Gail's installation, which was one of the last social events that we conducted this year. I cannot tell you how important our affiliate members are to the success of our organization and the success of our members, quite frankly, because they help you succeed. We truly value our affiliate members. That's another thing I think we very much had in common with Bronx, Manhattan North, because you really had such a strong support system, Ellie, with your affiliate members. And we really look forward to expanding those relationships because, again, our affiliate members are oftentimes the backbone of our industry and our success, and they are so willing to devote their time and energies to help us succeed. Here's some phone numbers that you should always be aware of. Again, our general number, 914-681-0833, that will lead you to our member success team. And they should be able to help you with any of your questions. For Matrix, our MLS provider, That's only MLS. So if you're having an issue with any functionality with Matrix, we do have a hotline number of 888-825-5472. NYSAR has got a very successful legal hotline led by Anthony Gatto, Chief Legal Counsel for NYSAR. We have a tech helpline. So if you are having any kind of a personal issue with one of your personal devices, your computer at home, your laptop, your smartphone, your computer is crashed, how do you get it back up? We have a tech line to help you Monday through Friday, 9 to 8. It's very, very valuable. The folks who have used this have raved about it. You know, this is not if you have an issue with MLS. This is if you have an issue with your computer or any of your devices. This is the number for you to call, and that's free. You don't have to pay for it. They can be on with you for an hour, and you're not going to have to pay for that. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that. Then we've got a fair housing hotline with an organization that we've got a great relationship with called Westchester Residential Opportunities. Doesn't make any difference. Don't be thrown off by the name. They are a regional fair housing organization. And if you're having a fair housing issue, that's the number to call. I mentioned that we have a CID event coming up, and it's coming up Thursday, October 22nd, which is this Thursday, 10 until 11:15. Ellie, why don't you briefly talk about this, because I know you're a big fan of Marlene and you've known her for a number of years.
Marlene is the president for the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation. She's been an advocate for us. We've worked well in the past together, and she's going to give us the vision. She's going to let us know where the Bronx was once, where it is now, and where it's going to go. She's very supportive of what we do. She's excited about sharing her knowledge, and we're all looking forward to that.
So we're very excited about that. And Kathleen, what's the best way to register for that event?
The best way to register for the event is to go on HGAR.com and go into that event. It's listed in the panels, and then just click register. And if they're having trouble with that, they can email me personally, kathleen.stack@hgar.com.
Great.
Yeah.
So we actually had a press conference with Ellie's help and Janine's help. We had a press conference, as you can see. We're all wearing our masks. This was at the YMCA at Castle Hill, and it was a very well-attended event. We had a number of local politicians who spoke, who acknowledged how happy they were about this new partnership. I do think it was interesting that Gail Fatizzi, as well as Crystal Siska Hawkins, our incoming president, are both from the Bronx. They were both born and raised in the Bronx. We also have our president-elect for next year, Anthony Domatoti, who has an office in the Bronx. So, this partnership happened for a reason, because this is a strong region and we have a strong history of partnerships with the Bronx in the past. And this really took it to the next logical step. So we could not be happier to bring about this partnership. As I've been saying, from my perspective, this is not a merger. This is a partnership. And it's a partnership to benefit the Realtor members, both in the Bronx, as well as the entire region, who are members of the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. And we could not be happier to have all of you as members of the new Bronx chapter of HGAR. So we are just tremendously excited. But if there's one message I want to leave with you today, this is your association, and you should be taking advantage of this association. We are here to help you with your businesses, to help you thrive in your communities, and to help your businesses succeed. So please, please, please take advantage of us, take advantage of our programs, our services. Call us, go on our website, communicate with us, and volunteer when you feel there's a passion that you have where you can help your association. Please volunteer. Gail, Ellie, any last words from either of you?
Well, I just want to tell all of our Bronx chapter members that are on the call that this partnership was put together with the deepest of care. And I am extremely proud of the way both associations worked together to make this happen. As a Bronx chapter of HGAR, we are now the rookie team. And what I am looking for is for us to be the rookies of the year. So every member that's on the call, I challenge you to reach out to all of our affiliates, because one of these similar webinars is being planned for them, and let them know to be on the lookout that a webinar is being planned for them. Our voice is stronger, and we must carry our weight to keep the Bronx shining. Thank you.
Gail?
Yeah, I just would say that this was recorded. So if there are people in your office, people in the association, the Bronx Association chapter, that you know that we're not able to be on the call today, we'll be able to share this recording with them. That phone number, the 914-681-0833 is really that and our HGAR.com website are really your entree to getting all of the information and resources that you need. We definitely are here to support every member in whatever way we can. We're open to ideas, suggestions. I welcome people to reach out to me directly, to Ellie, of course, and let us know if there are things that we should be focusing on that we're not, or any other ways that we can help you as a member of this association. And we're just excited and look forward to working with everybody. I think it's such a great partnership.
Hear, hear.
So thank you, everybody who joined us today. We're very, very excited. And we've had some challenges in the last several months, but I think we're going to emerge, and I think we've already started to emerge stronger than ever. And this partnership is going to help us really succeed for the balance of this year, but especially in 2021 going forward. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you, Richard.